Hi, I'm Finn. So today I want to do a video on, again, dealing with alcoholic parents or drug addicted parents and growing up in an alcoholic or drug addict home or dysfunctional home, as I usually say, and just some of the emotions that come up in that. So there's just been some stuff that's recently happening in my life, and these things always occur. So whether or not you have the person in your life anymore that was the cause of a lot of problems, I mean, if they're still alive, but say you don't have much to do with them, it does, if somebody else has something to do with them or they are still alive, chances are you'll often hear snippets of information about how that person's going or what's happening. And, it'll still impact you. So what I mean by that is, even though I've extricated myself from a lot of the initial drama, I do get things here and there, knowledge about what's happening, and it's amazing how immediately I find my blood pressure raises. I feel stressed, almost probably frustrated or a bit, tetchy. And often just quite anxious. And I realise in that moment how different it is to be living in a space where you can fully focus on yourself and not be present to stress. And I got to tell you, when you're living inside of stress and acute stress and dramas in the home, and you'll know this if you're going through it right now, I mean, it's just so draining. And sometimes you don't even get how draining it is until you're away from it. That's having it objectivity. When you separate yourself from it, you will ask yourself, how the F did I just have the energy to put up with that? And you'll see in a lot of my videos, I tend to use the word zero tolerance, and it's something I really stick by. I, again, often will say I don't see tolerance as a virtue in regards to your immediate environment and your immediate life circumstances. I maybe don't put that in the same basket as tolerating maybe, some person on the street, but in terms of your life, I have a real thing about zero tolerance, and that only comes from getting incredibly clear about yourself, what you want, what you stand for, and culling. I just cull things these days, and I'm not apologetic about it. That takes a long time to get to. I'm still not even at that point where I can feel I can do that without guilt. Don't get me wrong, there's always, and I think for children that grow up in alcoholic homes and dysfunctional homes, guilt is a huge emotion you'll often deal with, and it just comes and it goes, and you have to ride it like you just do. If anything, it's actually quite a useless emotion, guilt. So often if it's not acted on, it serves no purpose. So that's for another video. So I just wanted to talk about, those feelings that come up when you're dealing with stressful situations, and just maybe give a little hope to people who are currently dealing with stuff, that what it feels like to be somewhat out of it. So I'm not fully out of it. Like I said, I get snippets of information, and I can notice bodily reactions in myself responding to that. Sometimes I just don't want to know about it. And you can put in a boundary in that place, actually. If you're in a situation now where you've actually extricated yourself from the problems, you can tell people that, I don't want to know anything. Don't come to me and tell me anything about blah, blah. I don't want to know. I'm not interested in knowing. And you know what? You have every right to own that. You don't have to know. It's your life. It doesn't make you any less compassionate or empathetic. The fact is, you're standing for yourself, and that again is just a personal choice. So if that's where you get to, great. If that's something that you feel that you could implement into your life, where you just literally don't want to know anything about something, fine. For me, I still get snippets of information through the grapevine from other family members, and it bothers me. So the other night, I heard that my dad had been taken away in an ambulance, this has happened before, but threatening suicide. And, it's just, you don't really know how to respond to these things, because the overwhelming feeling feels like guilt and sadness. If anything, just grief and sadness come up for me again. But that level of frustration comes up too where you remember what it was like to deal with this on a daily basis. So when you're actually, for me, in the family home and you couldn't actually get away from this, like, and anyone that's dealing with this right now, you'll know that you may be walking home from school or uni and just knowing, because you live in the family environment, wondering, what am I going to go home to? Like, what am I going home to today? Is it just going to be like drama again? Like, do I have to sit there and listen? What's going to happen tonight? Are we going to be able to eat in peace, or is everyone going to be on eggshells? Like, this whole anticipation thing, it's such a shit way to live. And I just want to put it any nicely. It's effing shit. Like, it's not how life's supposed to be, and it's a fucking waste of time. And I just get really emotional about it. But if you're putting up with stuff right now, and if you're really, really honest with yourself and objective, and you don't have to be there, you need to start looking at that, because we can actually get, and that's a study of, let me think, it's in the book Molecules of Emotion, right, by Candace Pert, but you can actually get addicted to a state of being. So you can actually get addicted to feeling stressed and depressed, and you might think, no, I want to escape that, I don't want to deal with that. Well, yes, but we actually do get addicted to a state in which we are behaving and being, and until you actually separate yourself from it, you might actually then not look back you will look back and go, man, what was I doing? Like, I was just a crazy person. And that's what I do. I just think, what the hell was I doing? Like, and so I absolutely relate when you're in that situation, how you can just be so tied up in the drama of it, and you just don't see what's happening. You know, everyone else is looking at you like you're a crazy person. Like, they can tell you, and you know what? You don't even want to hear it. There's so many times in my life I just didn't want to hear what people had to say to me, and often that's because you're just not ready to hear it. And I believe everyone has their wick, like, you know, when it's going to run down to the bottom. Some people never do, just as you'll often find a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts and people with severe problems. It's like they never hit rock bottom. So in my dad's case, I just don't know if he's ever going to hit rock bottom. And you wonder that, because some people do, and they turn their life around and they're absolutely motivated to have something different from themselves. And there are a lot of people out there who just don't. And so you need to question that for yourself. If you're currently dealing with someone who's causing you a lot of stress and you're in an absolutely stressful environment, you need to ask yourself, what's my wick? What's my breaking point? When am I going to give this up? Because I just need to reiterate, and if you haven't gone to Al-Anon before, which I highly recommend if you are dealing with an alcoholic or a drug addict, just for the support, what you'll get there is you will never change the person. What you do will never make a difference to that person. And that's really shocking to hear, because you probably think you're special enough that you can, but you won't. And in fact, when you can truly get that in your core, that you are never going to make a difference to that person, as in the fact that you are never going to make a difference to their choice to drink, you can let a lot of things go. And in fact, you can start to look at that person as they're making their choices, and you need to make your choices for yourself. It's a really, really complex area. When I talk like this, I know I'm coming from a place of having gone through it, so I can look back a bit. When you're in it, there are things you just don't want to hear. So I totally get that, but just to let you know, there isn't another way. The fact is, you cannot change the person. And any hope you're holding on to, I mean, it'll slowly erode as you're pushed further and further, and you let yourself be pushed further and further down a road or backed into a corner. And maybe just know that maybe there is a time when your wick will be so short that it's finished for you, and you can find sort of some freedom for yourself. But the emotions that you deal with at the time are just so extreme. I absolutely understand. I also get that you feel, I still feel like a lot of people in my life, not family or some family, but friends, they really don't understand, and I don't expect them to, but it's a pretty lonely place to live in when there aren't people who understand what you're going through. So if you are someone supporting an alcoholic, or you're a child of an alcoholic, just know there are people that do understand, and you'll find them at Al-Anon, and you may find them on the internet and in forums and this sort of thing. So it's important to seek that out and not be alone. But yeah, I just wanted to get a little video on just, you know, acknowledging that there are real screwball emotions that come up, and they continue to come up even when you may have gotten yourself out of a situation. So it's a constant work. It's going to be a life journey. And even so, maybe people don't even feel when someone dies. So maybe the alcoholic dies or drug addict dies. I don't know, I keep in mind that maybe those feelings will always be there. Like, you know, you may not hear things about that person anymore that they're going through, but you may certainly have memories and insights and feelings about a lot of things that are incomplete. So I think it is a long journey for people who have gone through that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and just share that today. All right, bye.